All right. So the next talk will be about assistive technology. It will be performed by Jan Gozlicki. It will be translated in French and in German. The talk, to use his own words, will be, again, from Jan Gozlicki. He's a quadriplegic spinal cord injury survivor. And just like millions of people, he cannot control a computer with his own hands. This talk will give an overview of what our current technology has to offer for this reality that affects millions of people, but is unknown to most. Thank you. Give it up.
Good evening, CCC. My name is Jan, and today I will introduce you to the basics of hands-free assistive technology. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here for my first time, and I'm also really happy and glad that I got invited to speak here. So thank you everybody who was organizing this conference. It's already a lot of fun. So thank you for everybody who is joining the call here, who's in person or remotely. And special thanks goes to my colleagues and my team of nurses who may also dial in. And last but not least to my partner who is also sitting here in the audience. So, ready to... Yeah, I'm excited to share my story with you all. Yeah, I used to consider problems as challenges. So I was writing problems here in step 2, but actually I will consider them as challenges. And because I see them as opportunities for finding solutions, and these are the scope of what I'm going to present today. So after half an hour of presenting, there will be time for questions and answers. I'm from Berlin. I graduated as an engineer and economist. I enjoy traveling the world. I love adventures, and in particular, exploring innovative technologies. Although I love my job as a co-founder of a crypto company, I won't discuss that topic today. Everything started in 2017. I traveled with my family, you can see on the picture here, to Cabo Verde in Africa, and I had a life-changing accident. This picture was taken on the day of the accident, a few hours before. On the left side, you can see my specs, 181. I'm still 181 if I'm standing, 70 kilograms, and my top speed around 35 kilometers per hour. So while swimming in the open ocean, a massive wave, about 3 meters, caught me, pushed me head first onto the ground, and I broke my neck. Within the next couple of days, which I barely remember, I had 2 emergency operations. I was flying from Africa to Gran Canaria, to Berlin, and I experienced a few multiple near-death moments and reanimations. So I've been diagnosed with quadriplegia, which is a paralysis of all 4 limbs and the torso. The word quad refers to 4 limbs. Specifically, my diagnosis is sub C3. What a coincidence. C3 actually indicates the spinal cord injury below the cervical 3 vertebra. The C4 and 5 is damaged, and the C4 damage affects my diaphragm, which is crucial for breathing, the most strongest muscle for breathing. Thankfully, I'm able to breathe by my own. Other people concerns are not. But coughing, sneezing, and speaking are a daily challenge. So you may notice that I only speak when I'm exhaling. That's my secret. The damage also affects extensor muscles for my arms, for my hands, and that damage leads to a loss of hand function. So damage in C4 is quite a game changer. The picture you see here was 1 year later during my rehabilitation in Berlin. I'm now bound to a power wheelchair and will likely continue to use it for the rest of my life. With the addition of the wheelchair and its 2 heavy batteries, my weight increased to 310 kilograms. And I'm sitting most of the time. I actually can stand with this wheelchair. I'm a little bit smaller, so the perspective changed a little bit. While I move much slower now, so my top speed is just 12 kilometers per hour, these heavy batteries also have a significant advantage. I'm much faster than any pedestrian. So look at the specs again. I kindly ask you to consider these facts, keep them in mind, in particular if you have a feet close to my wheelchair. Okay, let's talk about challenges. Due to my diagnosis, I obviously face several challenges in my daily activities. I'm unable to move or feel almost anything below my level of injury, and that corresponds to my shoulders. To summarize, I cannot eat, drink, cough, wash myself, brush my teeth, go to bed, go to toilet, or walk by my own. And what is it about today? Mainly, I cannot click a keyboard, I cannot click a computer mouse, or touch a smartphone. Have a look on that list, because I have a question. If I myself, I don't speak for anybody else, could start doing anything of that, something independently again, what would be the first thing? Just think about it, what you would do. I won't bother asking anybody, so. That's the list, So, if I could, then I would. Drum rolls. While many typically answer start walking, based on my experience, that's not true for most of the people with severe disabilities. And it's also not for me. My personal answer is go to the toilet myself. It's not really a matter of privacy. It's actually not being able to do that greatly affects my health and can be even life-threatening. Number 1. I won't dive deeper into that topic for now. And there's a number 2. I would really, really, really love to scratch myself whenever it itches. It's hard to explain to a third person where exactly I need to scratch, right? But being able to do this myself would be greatly improve the quality of my life. These tasks may seem simple to others, but for me they would make a significant difference. Yeah, I'm not alone facing these challenges. There are hundreds of millions of people. There are 1 1.3 billion people worldwide with significant disabilities, according to WHO. There are hundreds of millions of people with disabilities for hearing loss, vision impairment, and so on. It's a long list. Around 1% of the population needs a wheelchair. All these individuals, they rely on assistive technologies to navigate their daily lives. Yeah, that has created a market for assistive technologies, projected to be reaching something over $40 billion within the next couple of years. There are already various innovative technologies available, such as helping the blind to skateboard, enabling those with hearing impairments to experience live music. There are affordable 3D printed prosthetics. They have been developed for people with amputations, and so on. So we have solutions there. Let's talk about solutions. So first of all, I will start with a very personal solution. Briefly, on the intensive care station, I created a website together with the help of my partner and my brother. And that was an online journal for myself, and it was very helpful for me in overcoming also the psychological challenges after my accident. I call it QuadWorks because even if you're quadriplegic, it still works. It started as a blog to update my friends and my family on my progress. In the very beginning, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink anything. And yeah, there was a lot of progress, and this website kind of evolved into a little side project where I shared insights about my spinal cord injury. So it tells a story of that experience of the rehabilitation since the accident, and it was designed pretty much for other survivors, individuals with disabilities, their relatives, or therapists. And one section is kind of dedicating to showcase the tech I'm using. And today I want to focus on the communication part. And I have found ways to enhance my independence using the smartphone, desktop, smart home devices, you name it. So there's some Office Basic gaps which are covered, and most of the time paid by the health insurance, obviously for all kind of mobilities which are needed, from bed to wheelchair, wheelchair to bed. Yeah. But the health insurance is not paying for anything for communication, pretty much. That's a tough fight. But this is here where the fun starts. So I will show you how I'm using my smartphone hands-free. So let's move on to a hands-on demonstration. Wait, did I say hands-on? I mean, obviously hands-free. So to do that, I rely on three essential components. The digital assistant, just like Siri, voice control, provided by the operation system by default, just disabled, and the switch control setting along a switch. Using a single click button on the left of my head in order to do that. Okay, demo time. I will start with my switch, and I will go into the control center. You can't see that yet. I will mirror my screen. That's the plan. So I will basically mirror the screen of my iPhone to my computer. Drum rolls, here we are. Nice. You can see an axis moving left-right. I can use this to fine-tune. And now I have another axis. And then I will click. And when I click, then I can point exactly somewhere. And here we are. So I can click multiple times. And then there comes a right-click menu. And with the right-click menu, I can go in the control center. I can switch between apps. I can mute, unmute, decrease the volume, do an emergency call, zoom in, out, make a screenshot, lock the screen, ... Basically anything, start going into settings, go in Siri, and so on. Okay, that's switch control. Voice control works with my voice, so let's activate it. Have a look on the watch on the top left. There's a little symbol, wake up. Voice control. Go to sleep. So I use a combination of both because it depends how much sound or noise is in the surrounding. So so sometimes I have to send it to sleep, and I have to be careful whether I'm talking to you or to my iPhone right now. Wake up. Wake up. 3. So this is a guide you can check out on your device, and you can start testing it yourself pretty much. It will enable you to use the smartphone much quicker than with your fingers, actually. 5. Tap 5. So each clickable element basically gets a number. Show names. Or it gets a name. Continue. There's some delay here. Scroll down. I can imitate all kind of hand gestures. Scroll down. Scroll up. Scroll left. Swipe left. Swipe left. Swipe left. Yeah, that's a fast track. I can just skip all of that. So feel free to test it on yourself. Stop listening. Wake up. Go home. Open WhatsApp. Go to sleep. Okay, number 3, my digital assistant. You're familiar with Siri. However, I want to make a little presentation of it. Hey Siri, sende WhatsApp-Nachricht an Jan Goslicki. Sende WhatsApp-Nachricht an Jan Goslicki. Hallo Jan. Punkt. Wie geht es dir? Ich habe gehört, dass du heute in Hamburg einen Vortrag machst. Punkt. Kannst du mir bitte den Link zum Livestream schicken? Ich würde mir das gerne ansehen. Und danach können wir uns auch auf ein Bier verabreden. Punkt. Darauf freue ich mich schon sehr und bis später. Punkt. Liebe Grüße und falls wir uns verpassen, wünsche ich dir noch einen guten Rutsch. Ja. Not bad, huh? Okay, 3 components. Let's go and disable the screen mirroring. Whoa. Yeah, that was my smartphone. And you can already see I'm also using a desktop computer. It's as important as my smartphone. And first of all, I need hardware for that. And you can see the head mouse, which looks like a webcam on top of my laptop. That is recognizing my head movement because there's a little silver reflection dot in the middle of my forehead. That's crucial, that's essential basically. It translates my head movements into mouse movements. Yeah, and obviously I also use voice control for giving commands and dictating. So good microphones and a good headset. Good headsets actually are essential for using a computer. And yeah, not just hardware, obviously software is crucial. Dwell click is a classic. So I'm moving my mouse all the time. Why? Because when I stop moving, actually it will start clicking. So that's why I go on break. It clicks after a quarter second automatically. And I'm also using this virtual keyboard here. Keyboard text abbreviations, for example, or I can change the way I'm clicking and can go on double click, on right click, drag and drop. And I use shortcuts, copy, undo, redo, mark everything, paste everything, press .com and enter, return. So obviously I'm also using dictation software and the native dictation from the operating system. Overall, I try to digitize everything. Okay. I would like to present one tool which was really a game changer for me at the workplace, and that is a digital whiteboard. A digital whiteboard allows for interactive and proactive collaboration and presentation in a hybrid format, in person, remote, on your phone, with touch, without. I was able to convince my labor office to pay for that device. It's close to 5 digits. And if you're an employer, for the matter of inclusion, you may consider integrating such device in your work environment. Yeah, I love it. Feel free to contact me. Happy to support on that. Yeah, other than my digital life, I also have a real life. And a lot of that is obviously happening at my home, at my smart home. And here again, I use popular digital assistants and their corresponding devices. And I use mobile apps, obviously, for the corresponding hardware, for all the elements in my house to open and close them, such as doors or curtains. And all of that is typically, for the most sophisticated items, based on KNX, which is an open source, pretty much open source, the gold standard for home automation wired connectivity. So I have an app here. I can simply open my apartment door right now and let in the electrician. Yeah, the most important items for me, and not just for people with disabilities, also for couch potatoes, for anybody who doesn't want to get up from the couch in order to change the TV program. There are a lot of smart devices there. There are light systems, can create great atmospheres, provide you automatic scheduling. That's the easiest part. Synchronize with music, with movement, with the weather, whatever you need, with your GPS. That was one of the first things I even installed in the hospital already for myself, so I didn't need to rely on a nurse to switch on and off the light. A thermostat is critical. I'm struggling sometimes whether it's cold or too hot. It can change the temperature based on your location. It detects when the window's open. It saves energy, money, and a lot of nerves. And other helpful devices are most obviously, and they may need wired connectivity, are doors, curtains, tables, my couch, my bed. Anything can be basically used on every level. That means with a voice, with my mobile app, or for able-bodied people, yeah, with a click on a switch. Last but not least, air purifying, cooling down, or heating up your room and ventilating as needed is also yeah, something what I use every day. Yeah, now let me introduce you to my top 4 favorite mobile tools. One is the Hydrant for Health. It's a great product and it prevents dehydration. And the dry voice. I also have a multivan, which you can see on the top right. Yeah, with a lift, which comes from under the button, goes in and out, and I'm sitting as a co-driver there. I always wanted to have a driver and be the co-driver. And yeah, that's extremely helpful, I must say, to be mobile. Together with my power visor and that car, I'm maybe sometimes even more mobile than I have been before my accident. I can highly recommend anybody having Bluetooth sunglasses. Obviously not for every kind of weather, but you can make phone calls, listen to music or the navigation without putting anything into your ear. And yeah, they look good as well. Last but not least, something very important is a blood pressure meter with Bluetooth. Simply synchronized all your data on your phone and you can track your health record. Yeah, let's talk about high tech. Let's talk about gaming, for example. I haven't started doing that yet, but I know once I will probably not do anything else. So that's the reason why I didn't start it yet, but it's possible with sip and puff, with clicking many different buttons. There are tubes where you can sip and puff inside, and then you do actions, everything available already. You can play a sophisticated game just with your lips and mouse. There are robotic arms outside, which can help me drinking whenever I want, basically, without asking my assistant. And there's VR, obviously, and there's AI. I have been using AI. It's part of my daily life already and it's assisted me as well for creating that presentation. So there's a lot out there. Probably enough content for another talk. So I would be glad to get invited again. That's a picture from me in the Swiss Alps 2 years ago. So by making technology more accessible, I believe we can empower people, lazy people, but also people with disabilities to be more independent and engaged. And by the way, when I say lazy, that's a good thing, right? Because lazy people are innovative, otherwise we wouldn't have wheels. Or remote controls. Through innovative solutions, we can make a significant impact on the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And thanks to assistive technology, I sustained my job, which I had before the accident, until today as a managing director for my startup. And in the last 4 years, thanks to technology, I traveled 80,000 kilometers across dozens of cities, dozens of countries, and dozens of mountains, up to 3,500 meters, as you can see here. So, last words for now. Thank you. First of all, and last, to my partner, Javille. You're my guardian angel and the love of my life.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Are there any questions? Okay, we have a question from the internet maybe first.
Yeah, so before I start with the question, huge respect and thank you for sharing your story. I think it was really helpful for a lot of people in similar situations. So someone on the internet asked if you only use Apple devices or if you have also experience with other platforms, and what are important improvements needed on those other platforms?
So most of these elements, components which I demonstrated, digital assistant, voice control, and switch control, they're all available by default for Linux and Windows as well. Some have advantages, Windows, because they're a little bit more open. But yeah, I like Apple because it's a little bit more integrated across the devices. So just test it yourself, it's all available there. Let's do it yourself, yeah. And I must say I was impressed about the development of the technology in the last couple of years. The accuracy of the voice control and all these accessibility features skyrocketed really in the last couple of years while I was using them.
Yeah, Mike, one.
First of all, thanks for illustrating your experiences. What I wanted to ask you, I actually have two questions, one short question. The thing with your dot on your head, is it like a special color and is it important where it is placed, or is it just imperative that it is placed on your forehead in either position?
Typically, I make a lot of jokes to this answer. Today I won't promise, because people always ask me what it is. So you see the camera on top of my laptop. That looks like a webcam. So for me, it's very important that I center myself towards the computer and that webcam. And yeah, and then I'm basically moving my head. All right, I will show you here. Yeah, I'm moving my head left, right, top down, and yeah, it's basically translating my head movement into my mouse movement, and it's very smooth.
I see. So it could be also a little bit like a little bit more down, but it's important that your position of your head is somehow relaxed when you
yes,
don't
exactly.
move it. I see. Okay.
It needs to be aligned. Yeah.
Okay. And the second question is, I mean, you use a lot of smart home devices. Do you sometimes think of your data that you share with those devices and companies, or is it for you priority number one to make your life easy or easier and gain independence?
Yeah, that's always a compromise: usability, privacy, security, and yeah, usability, convenience is for me right now first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
First of all, thank you so much for your presentation. Do you have any? I meant to say, it's really wonderful to see how much progress has been made, and how independent you're able to be because of this technology. Do you have any recommendations for resources for rehabilitation? Most of the stuff you talked about is like end state. So between your accident and your current status, is there anything that you used that you would recommend for rehab? And my related question, and my second related question is there anything that you would recommend for convincing doctors or therapists of the utility of these things?
First answer, no. Pretty much I presented today the summary of my experiences, which I figured out myself over the couple of years. And that's why I started kind of building my website, so to say, to support, but it's difficult. Sorry, second question?
Is there anything you would recommend to convince doctors or therapists of the utility of some of this technology? because they're very stuck in, like, their ways.
Yeah, don't try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the talk. So, you're clearly very skilled with the tools that you use around you, all these input devices, especially the switch navigation and the mouse thing. So how long did it take for you to achieve this kind of level of skill for manipulating everything? Roughly.
Half a year, I would say, until I was writing my first blog post myself. Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Mic 3.
And if you have to, you're much faster in learning. I can promise you that. So it's just doing this head movement and head mouse, yeah, a couple of weeks to months, essentially. With the voice, is much faster. Yeah. And driving the wheelchair, I use my chin with a joystick. It took me 2 hours to learn that.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting. I wanted to ask you, for the people who are creating software and interfaces, what would you say would be your recommendations to make it more accessible? Like, is there something that you find annoying that sometimes doesn't exist in many interfaces, or maybe some recommendation that you have how we could make tools that would be much easier to access?
I believe there's universal design as a principle, and there are guidelines by iOS and Android. But with the technologies I showed you, it doesn't matter. Like, I can click anything at any time or command what to do. It really doesn't bother me most of the time, yeah.
Okay.
Mic 4.
2 questions. First is, you've probably tried a lot of things that did not work for you. Is there anything specific you think is extremely overrated? Or just mildly overrated?
Overrated?
Yeah, like überbewertet.
Like, difficult for me is everything what has to do with wires, obviously. Like doors, for example, that's really difficult.
The question was about assistive technologies that are supposed to help you but did not help you in the way you intended.
No, not really.
Interesting.
Like, I must say it's even underrated because you saw how quickly you can speed up your performance. Like, if you just use your voice, you can be so fast writing your email. It's incredible. Or text and so on, or control devices. Or with a few things, you can simply outperform your colleagues.
Yeah, that's actually really nice to hear. Second question, have you played with eye tracking? Has it been useful to you?
Have I played
Eye tracking?
No, it's not useful for me. It might be useful for others because I can move my head, and what I can move, I should move.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. Well, that was quite a bunch of questions. Thank you so much. Oh, there is another one? Yeah.
Do you use two-factor authentication for login or password or fingerprint? How it is working for you?
Yes, I have to, and I recommend you to do so as much as possible. It's a must-have. So two-factor authentication, 100%, yes. There's authentication apps on your phone. And with using voice control or switch control, I click on it and it copies automatically. And then I switch the app and I say paste that, and the code is pasted. Yeah, I can do that within 15 seconds. That's, yeah.